You care deeply. You feel other people's sadness, their stress, their disappointment, almost as if it's your own. And because of that, you're the person everyone comes to, the listener, the peacemaker, the helper. But lately, you've started to feel heavy, not just tired, emotionally drained, because you don't just care, you carry. Empathy is beautiful. It's what makes us human, kind, and connected. But without boundaries, empathy becomes a trap. You start absorbing emotions that aren't yours to hold. You go home after work feeling exhausted, not from what you did, but from what you felt. This is what psychologists call emotional contagion. When your brain mirrors the stress and sadness of others as if you were living it yourself. It's empathy without regulation. And over time, it leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional numbness. You can't pour from an empty cup. And yet that's what so many caring people try to do every day. So today, let's talk about something most people never learn in school. Emotional boundaries. The art of caring without carrying. Because true empathy isn't about taking on someone else's pain. It's about standing strong enough to help them carry it themselves. To understand emotional boundaries, we first need to understand what happens inside the brain when you feel someone else's emotions. Your brain is wired for connection through something called mirror neurons. These tiny cells fire both when you act and when you observe someone else acting. It's what lets you flinch when someone stubs their toe, or tear up when you see someone cry. That's empathy in motion, your brain literally reflecting another person's emotional state. But here's the problem. If you never turn that mirror off, you start confusing their pain for your responsibility. Research from the University of Zurich found that people with high emotional empathy show increased activity in the anterior insula, the region linked to emotional pain. In other words, your brain feels their hurt as if it's your own. And while that's beautiful for connection, it's dangerous for endurance. Imagine working all day listening to complaints, frustrations, or sadness. Each story leaves a mark, a bit of emotional residue you carry home. You turn off your laptop, but your body doesn't turn off the feelings. Your chest still feels tight. Your thoughts replay other people's problems on loop. That's emotional overload. But there's hope. Neuroscientists say the antidote to empathy fatigue isn't less empathy, it's regulated empathy, the kind that connects you to others while keeping your sense of self intact. It's what psychologists call empathic concern, caring for someone without becoming them. And that's exactly what emotional boundaries protect. So, how do you know when your empathy has crossed the line from healthy care to emotional overload? There are signs, subtle at first, that your heart is carrying more than it should. You might recognize yourself in some of these. 1. You feel drained after helping others. Instead of fulfillment, you feel empty. Every conversation leaves you a little more tired, not because people are bad, but because you're absorbing emotions like a sponge. 2. You take responsibility for other people's moods. When someone's upset, you automatically feel like you did something wrong. You start fixing emotions that were never yours to fix. 3. You find it hard to say no. You keep showing up, even when your body says stop, because guilt whispers, "If I don't help, I'm selfish." 4. You overthink small conflicts. You replay every interaction in your head, wondering if you hurt someone without realizing it. 5. You lose track of what you actually feel. When you're surrounded by other people's emotions, yours become background noise. These are the symptoms of blurred boundaries. Your compassion is real, but it's running without regulation. Empathy without limits doesn't make you kinder. It makes you weaker and eventually resentful. Because the truth is, you cannot save everyone, and you were never meant to. So if this sounds familiar, if you've been carrying everyone else's pain while ignoring your own, then the next step isn't to harden your heart, but to strengthen your boundaries. Because boundaries don't block love, they protect it. Here's the good news. You can stay compassionate and protect your peace. Setting emotional boundaries isn't rejection, it's respect for yourself and for the people you want to keep showing up for. Boundaries don't mean closing your heart. They mean keeping it strong enough not to shatter. Here are 3 practical ways to set emotional boundaries without losing your warmth or empathy. 1. The pause principle. Before you absorb someone's emotion, pause for 2 seconds. Ask yourself, is this mine to carry or just mine to witness? If it's yours, act. If it's not, listen, then release. That tiny pause creates the space where wisdom lives. It reminds your nervous system that you can care without collapsing. 2. Compassion, not contagion. Instead of feeling exactly what the other person feels, practice understanding it. Say to yourself, I see your pain. I don't need to own it to honor it. You can stand beside someone in the dark without dimming your own light. That's emotional leadership, presence without absorption. 3. The small yes, big no, balance. You can't say yes to everything and stay healthy. Empathy without boundaries quickly turns into self-betrayal. It's okay to say, I want to support you, but I need a moment to recharge. I care deeply, but I can't solve this for you. Kind honesty is more loving than silent resentment. You might feel guilty at first, but guilt isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're doing something new. As you practice boundaries, you'll notice something magical. You have more energy, more clarity, and more compassion that actually lasts. Because you've stopped leaking your kindness into every open wound. Once you start setting boundaries, something beautiful happens. You stop feeling guilty for taking care of yourself. Because empathy isn't an endless fountain, it's a battery. And if you don't recharge it, you'll eventually go dark. Protecting your energy doesn't make you selfish, it makes you sustainable. Here are a few ways to protect your emotional energy without disconnecting from the world around you. 1. Create emotional off hours. Just like you schedule meetings, schedule moments of no emotional labor. That means no deep talks, no problem solving, just stillness. 5 minutes of silence after work, a walk without your phone, breathing, not thinking. Let your nervous system reset. That's how you recover empathy. 2. Use physical rituals to release emotional residue. When you've listened to heavy stories all day, your body carries tension. Do something that signals closure. Wash your hands slowly, take a shower, light a candle, or write one line in your journal. That emotion wasn't mine to keep. Small acts tell your brain the work of caring is done for today. 3. Surround yourself with grounded people. Empathy is contagious, but so is calm. Spend time with people who refill you, not drain you. People who remind you that peace is possible, even in the middle of chaos. Because boundaries aren't walls, they're filters, letting in what nourishes and letting go of what harms. When you protect your energy, you make space for joy again. You start laughing easily, breathing deeper, feeling lighter. And that's when empathy becomes beautiful again. Not a burden, but a bridge. You were never meant to carry everyone's pain. You were meant to care, to listen, to offer kindness, but not to lose yourself in the process. Empathy doesn't mean drowning with someone. It means helping them find the shore while keeping your feet on solid ground. Let's remember the core truth. Boundaries don't reduce your compassion. They protect it. They keep your love clean, your mind clear, and your heart resilient. Because when you take on too much, you don't just burn out. You block your own ability to love well. True empathy is when your heart stays open and your soul stays steady. Imagine if every leader, teacher, parent, and friend learned to care this way, without guilt, without fear, without exhaustion. We'd have workplaces where people could speak honestly, families that could breathe, and friendships that could heal instead of drain. The world doesn't need more people who care too much. It needs people who care wisely. So take a breath. Put down what was never yours to hold. And remember, caring isn't carrying. You can love deeply without losing your light. Stay kind, stay clear, and I'll see you in the next video.